What does it take to be an entrepreneur?
When you wake up early in the morning thinking about, your vision that you have.
Whenever you choose to set up any form of business, you have to be passionate about it.
You literally want something to be successful.
To be successful in entrepreneurship.
Realize they needed to go to school to learn the profession.
Meet the brains behind the business.
Wait for that money to come, and you must have a budget.
And one of the mistakes when they try to be entrepreneurs is they jump into it a little bit too early.
If I don't know, then I know a lot of people don't know.
Mind your own business. This program provides the platform for budding entrepreneurs to initialize, educate, and develop ideas emerging into the global stage of the economy. Stay tuned on this station for Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank. Every week on Mind Your Own Business, MYOB, 2 lucky winners stand a chance of winning 100,000 naira alongside consolation prizes. And that's not all. Look out for the grand draw. 3rd prize winner, 200,000 naira. 2nd prize winner, 300,000 naira. And the 1st prize winner, 500,000 naira. Okay, here's how you participate. New and existing customers have to open and fund a UBA Lion Prime basic account with at least 20,000 naira or more. It's that simple. Follow UBA/MYOB on social media for more updates. Mind Your Own Business is brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
This is Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
Good morning and welcome to Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank. I'm Wole Famrewa and thank you for joining us. Today we are focusing on the media industry, and our guest today is Biola Alabi, the founder and CEO of Biola Alabi Media. She has a very rich history in media, and we'll be finding out about that as we go along. Biola, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
All right, so let's talk a bit about your story as an entrepreneur. I'm sure it didn't start in media. Just take us back to where it all started and how you ended up in media.
Do we have enough time for that?
Well, if you can, keep it short.
We'll make it short. No, I didn't start off as an entrepreneur. I started off really always wanting to work at a company. That's really was sort of what I did and did very well, and worked at some really amazing companies. Most of them in media. I did work for a couple of internet startups at the beginning of my career. I worked for a Korean car company called Daewoo at the beginning of my career. And then from there found my way into media. And the way it happened was really I was working on a lot of marketing campaigns, and those marketing campaigns always had a media element. And so I really found that creating the TVCs, the television commercials, very interesting. And I thought this is really cool, but not as a job, just as something that's part of your job. And so as sort of my evolution of going from job to job and sort of trying to find my place in the world, I ended up at a very, very big media company that has multiple productions, but also merchandising. It's a little company, I don't know if you've heard of it, called Sesame Street. They do a very little show that goes around, that's broadcast in over 150 countries. And one of the things that I was able to really pick up there was the power of media and how media really can change the world. And I really didn't know that before. I just thought it was something I saw as entertaining. It was something I saw as just you did. It wasn't something I thought that really had the impact to change the world. And then the minute I started working there, I started to see the creative process very differently. I started to see stories very differently, and really how you build characters very differently, not only from a children educational media perspective, but really in the best stories, the best movies. What do they do? How do they change people? How do the best characters get under your skin? Sometimes you go to a movie and you can't shake what you've just seen. And those are the things that started to really get me interested in media and really in the art of creating that and how to make that commercially viable. And once I started to get into that, I then realized it's sort of like a Google rabbit hole that once you start, you kind of can't stop. There's so many ways to go with that.
Right. Okay. And was it a case of you just finding yourself in something you loved, or something that you found out that you could do very well and you just invested yourself into it?
I think these things are always a little bit of both, but also finding out a lot of things that I was bad at. So there was a lot of jobs that I was bad at, even though they weren't working for me, even though I was passionate about them.
What's your training, by the way? Undergrad, school, and all of that?
So I started out as a pre-med major.
Med?
Yes, medicine.
Oh, okay.
But that's not uncommon for a Nigerian. I mean, if you're a Nigerian and your parents tell you that we're paying for school, you can't really come home and say, oh, I'm going to be a liberal arts major.
Right.
That sort of wasn't accepted. So I started out as pre-med and then realized very quickly that as much as I enjoyed some of the sciences, there were some that I didn't enjoy. And they were going to be very critical to me becoming a doctor. So then I switched to pharmacy.
Okay.
And then when I did, after my first year of you have to do pre-pharmacy, then you apply to pharmacy school. So in between applying to pharmacy school, I had taken all my requirements. I then did an internship at a pharmacy.
Okay.
And there was something I kept on asking the pharmacist that, so what else do we do here? Like I kept on looking for action. And they're like, this is
the action, right?
This is the action. Like this is the middle of action. I thought, okay, this is probably not for me. And then now I'm sitting there. I have to graduate on time, and I was really trying to figure out what else I wanted to do. And I still had always been very interested in health and helping people, and so I then switched my major to public health, and really wanted to work on health messages.
Right.
But what was really interesting as a requirement for public health, you had to take marketing classes and you also had to take a media class because this was all tools to use in public health. And so when I took the marketing class, I thought, this is fascinating.
This?
I know, I was like, I want to do this. And so I then minored in marketing.
Okay. And
so I had my public health degree, actually got my first job at what they called a mom center, which is this very high, new age center where you come and it's like a hotel for deliveries.
Okay.
And it was like a 5-star hotel, and it was under construction, and so they wanted a public health expert as they were constructing this place and went to market. And so that was actually one of my first jobs.
Okay, let's bring it back to today what's going on with Biola Alabi Media. So tell us about what your business is all about.
So many years after working in different corporations, sort of being a corporate rat in different places and helping build really, really amazing businesses that I'm very proud of. About 2 years ago, I decided that I wanted to start looking at other opportunities. And really what I wanted to start doing was creating stories that I felt weren't being told. And sometimes, which I really respect corporations, I respect targets, I respect focus, and I really respect that, whenever you're doing commercial work, it's very important that it connects with the audience. So it's almost sort of like if you have a radio station, you have to really have a target market and you have to zone in on your target market.
Right.
And so one of the things I wanted to do was create a different type of story, tell a different narrative. And I thought the best way to do that was actually to start my own company. And so I started my own company and also started doing some consulting work. So with the company, what we do is we're a production company. We create and originate news stories and African stories. And at the same time, we work with clients all over the world, consulting for them on different media initiatives, creating content, how to commercialize content that has been created.
All right. We'll definitely get more into your story, but we have to take a commercial break now. And if you can, Biola, we always like our guests to make a music selection. So what would you like?
So I'm going to select something that I was playing in the car on my way here because I can't think of anything right now. And it was Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
All right. So we're taking it back to the 80s.
So
okay.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but yes.
No problem at all. All right. We'll come back to our conversation with Biola Alabi right after this break.
Coming up on Mind Your Own Business.
Anywhere in the world that you go to, media is a very, very small industry. There's a lot of practitioners, but it's a very small industry, and it's a very tight-knit industry. And so really the best way to build your business is to create as many good relationships as possible.